I was thinking my perfect wife was hiding a dark secret, only to find the secret was. The secret wasn't a bank account or a secret lover. It was something that lived in the dark corners of her mind, and I saw it in the way my wife, Adana, would flinch whenever I mentioned one simple word, village. For a year, I lived with the unsettling certainty that the woman I loved, the woman who was my light, was hiding a deep secret about where she came from. Hello, I am Tond, and this is the story of my wife, Adana. For 1 whole year, I loved the woman who held a secret so tightly, it almost broke our marriage. The secret wasn't about money or another person, it was about shame, and the place she called home. I married Adana because she was everything I dreamed of. She was beautiful, smart, an accountant in a big firm, and she moved through Lagos society like a queen. She was the perfect modern Nigerian wife, and my life was full of light. But there was always one shadow. In our culture, after marriage, you must take your wife home to the village. You must introduce her to your ancestors, the land, and the elders. It is the proper way. I tried to plan the trip many times. But every time I mentioned my ancestral village, Adana's face would change. That beautiful smile would vanish. She would become stiff, her eyes suddenly distant. She always had an excuse. The traffic was bad. Her office was too busy. Once, she claimed she had a fever that only flared up when the dates were near. My love was strong, but my worry started growing into a cold, hard knot. My mother, Mama, noticed. She called me and her questions cut deep. Tond, is your wife a river spirit? Why does she hide you from her home? Why does she fear the honest dirt of the village? Though Mama was joking with an old folk tale, the questions were real. Was Adana already married? Did she have a child she never told me about? I was terrified that my perfect wife was hiding a dark history. After 12 months of excuses, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to know the truth. I booked the ticket and told her, I am going. You can stay here and tell my family whatever story you wish, but I am going home. That night, Adana couldn't hide anymore. She walked into the room where I was packing and her whole body was trembling. She wasn't angry, she was pure fear. I am coming with you, Tond, she whispered, barely making a sound. But please, please, promise me you won't judge me when we get there. Promise you won't throw me away when you see my truth. I looked at the woman who was my life. I saw her shame, not her guilt. I held her ice-cold hands and promised her that no matter what I saw, I would never throw her away. I married her, and that was the end of it. The journey was long and silent. We left the tired roads of the city behind, and soon, the car was bouncing along the dusty village path. The smell of dry earth and wood fire filled the air, the smell of my home. We pulled up to my family's compound. It was big, modern, and proud. My family rushed out, shouting joyfully, but Adana stood frozen by the car, her head bowed. She looked like a soldier waiting for the firing squad. Then, it happened. Down the dusty path, past the walls of our house, an older woman appeared. She wore a simple, faded cloth wrapper, and her hands were rough and calloused from work. She looked tired, but her eyes were searching desperately. She shouted a name, Neko. Neko, my child. That was Adana's village name. The city mouth shattered. Adana ran. She sprinted past me, past my shocked family, and fell to her knees in the red dust right in front of the older woman. The two women held each other, sobbing. This was Adana's mother. The truth was that Adana hadn't hidden a crime. She had hidden her poverty. Her family was among the poorest in the old quarter. Her mother sold yams and cassava in the sun just to get by. Adana had fought her way out with scholarships and sheer strength, and she was terrified that I would look at her humble background and think she was unworthy of my life. I walked over. My heart broke with understanding but also swelled with immense pride. I helped both women up and pulled my wife close. My love, I whispered, holding her face. You fought your way out of the dirt with your mind and your hard work. You built a future from nothing. There is no shame here. You are honor itself. Then came Mama.